Welcome to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the book club and podcast with your hosts, Sarah, Kit, and Marianne, three friends who talk about all things books, food, and travel. Welcome, readers, eaters, and travelers to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the podcast and book club where books take us beyond the page. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kit.
And I'm Marianne. Today we'll be talking about the books we've read recently and books we think you need to add to your TBR pile.
And this episode is spoiler-free, so if you haven't read a book that we're mentioning, don't worry about it. We're not going to ruin it for you. And as always, we are adult readers who do say adult things and read adult books. Books with adult content. Adult things happen.
My t-shirt today, good moms say bad words.
Boom. All right.
I was like, yep.
That's it.
I'm wearing a white t-shirt and drinking coffee, so pray for me.
No. It's happening at some point. I'm just noticing.
We can't make you laugh so much that you spit it out or anything like that. Or
I have like a wicked sunglasses tan is what I'm noticing. Like how dark my nose is. And like
spent a lot of time outside lately.
I don't like spend a lot of time looking at myself in a mirror or anything. So I'm like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that tan line on my nose.
So funny.
Right
okay, so who's up first?
Sarah.
Okay.
Sarah's on it.
So I really truly only read 5 books this month, and 2 of them were books of the month. We have an entire episodes on those, so I'm only going to talk really about 3 of them. The first, of course, being Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. I did suggest it to a few people. One of my book groups I'm in on Facebook, somebody was like, I want to read a summer book by Megan Quinn. And I was like, do this one.
Do I have a book for you?
Yeah. And then I read Yesteryear, Carol Claire Burke. This is one that I had. I think 2 of the books I read were very cerebral this month, and so I thought a lot about them. I know that Marianne read Yesteryear last month.
I liked the first part of it. And I liked the first part of it because I felt like it was a condemnation of the whole influence lifestyle.
Yeah.
But then the second part was just kind of, I don't know, went beyond my brain power or something. So.
Well, I was kind of thinking that the whole time, like, where's this going? Where's this going? And then it hit me when I was almost done. It is 100% allegory.
I was trying to remember what words you use.
The people who allegory is kind of like metaphor, but it's a little deeper.
Yeah.
It's more like it's like metaphor and satire had a baby.
Yeah.
So
they got together.
Yeah, because it really I'm reading it the whole time. I'm thinking this is like Lord of the Flies is allegory. And this is allegory. This is basically making fun of in a serious way of social media and politics.
Yeah.
I think the politics kind of snuck in there. And then I was kind of like, wow. Then once I figured that out and I kind of thought, this is why I feel like maybe a lot of the people are like, I don't get it. Not even the people said they didn't like it. People are like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm like, it's because it's allegory. It's a deeper book.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Lord of the Flies is that same way when you read it and you're like, these kids are fighting on an island and then this happens. And then all of a sudden they're rescued. What the heck? Why is that? But it's allegory for humanity and things like that. So, but it was one of those I really had to look for and think about. And then I actually just saw a clip of her talking with Jenna Hager-Bush about writing it.
I love Jenna Hager-Bush.
Because it's her book club.
Right.
Yeah, she picks some really good books for that, like for her book club.
Yeah.
Read with Jenna.
Yeah.
Like she's had some really solid like book suggestions.
Yeah. Well, and she she was talking to her and Carol said when she was in the process of writing it or already had a draft or whatever is when that documentary came out about who was that influencer? Franks?
Oh, yeah. Frankie.
Yeah.
Kids,
on
the mom
and she was the same thing. Like it's a documentary on Netflix and it is all about being this trad wife. And there's footage of her yelling and screaming at her kids. Try to be happy even if you don't care. Like, and she was like, and I kind of realized that this is what, really connected. And so I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Ruby Frankie. And
Ruby Frankie, that's
Ruby
what it
Frankie. She got like really sucked into like a crazy cult therapy. I don't know if you've watched the documentary, either of you.
I have. Really it's really good.
It's a really well done documentary.
But like her kids, in prison right now, I think, isn't she? For
Yes, she
maybe
is. Yeah.
neglect or something, or like the children.
Well, so I forget the name of the other lady that was like Jody Hildebrandt, something like that. That was like
Mhm.
the actual kind of like
Mhm.
cult therapist lady that
Yeah.
they had 2 of the kids like bound and locked
Yes.
into like closets.
As
Like
like
it was
punishment,
abuse.
like
Like
yeah.
it was way more than neglect. It was the kid like escaped and ran to a neighbor's
Yes.
house, and
And I think
the
the
video of
kids
the neighbor finding him is
is crazy.
horrifying. Yeah.
The kids also, I believe, are very active now in getting laws passed about
Yes.
using underage children in social media for influencing specifically. So it really does relate to yesteryear in a way, and especially how yesteryear ends,
Mhm.
that whole kind of thing. So I thought the more I looked into it, the more I was like, okay, okay. Was it my favorite? No. But I got it. I got it. It
Okay,
was a
so I have a
very
question for the English teacher.
okay.
So would you consider the Hunger Games an allegory?
Yeah, I think I would.
Because that's what because I say it's like I know intellectually what it's trying to tell me. I
Yeah.
just hate the way it's being told. You know what I'm saying? Is about how our society,
Yes.
like how our
Yeah.
society has become so numb to violence that someday we're going to have kids fighting kids. I know that that's what it's
Yes.
And that
trying to tell
someday
me.
is soon
Yeah,
because we're having, well, I don't know like exactly, but
That's
they want to
stupid.
do the like high school Olympics. What I forget what they're calling it, where one boy and one girl from each state are going to come together and compete in sports, the best of the
mm,
best athletes
mhm.
to see which state is the best
Yeah.
for like raising athletes. I'm like, what
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
fucking Hunger Games are we doing right now?
So,
So I mean,
yes, because the different the
I understand what the intent of the book is. I just didn't like reading it.
didn't
You know
like
what I'm
it.
saying?
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right, right, right.
I
Which
got
is
the
fair.
message.
Yeah.
I got the
Yeah.
message,
Well, that's what I'm
but I
saying. I
didn't
feel
like
like people like
yeah,
you who are like, "I get it, but I still didn't like it." But other people are like, "I
yeah,
don't get it." It's like,
I
then
don't
you're
get it. Yeah.
missing the whole and I told people, I said, "If you go in knowing it's allegory, I think that
yeah,
helps."
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
To me, some of that's just not entertaining. I read to be
Yes.
entertained, kind of
Yeah,
with
yeah,
some
yeah.
of the books about grief.
Yeah.
You don't want to be sad. Hunger Games made me sad. So
So
that's why I
giving you
didn't like it.
a
Yeah.
better definition, the difference between the 2 is allegory is big. So, like, an
Okay.
entire novel can be allegory, but within an allegory, like, is metaphor is just a literary device.
Right.
So it
Right.
can be
Okay.
used once.
Yeah.
But when the whole book symbolizes something, then it's allegory. If just one part symbolizes, then it's metaphor. So it's just
Okay.
bigger
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
and I
I
do
get it.
think
Yeah.
allegory and satire are definitely related because
Yeah.
satire, of course, is making fun of, and I think allegories, you do make fun of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting. I've been interested in reading like interviews or listening to interviews with her or things like that. Right now, both dogs are down here and they're both going to start fighting.
Amazing.
Okay.
It's perfect.
Ugh.
Hunger Games
And then
dogs.
I did,
Sarah's
Speaking
speaking of Hunger
speaking of the
Games,
Hunger Games.
I re-listened to Sunrise on the Reaping
What did
because
you
Kit
think?
listened to it.
Yes.
Oh, it was devastating. Devastating.
Right? Like
Like,
he's such a good Haymitch, that voice, man.
oh, he's so good. And this movie is gonna destroy me,
Did
like when it comes
you
out.
did you watch the new
Yes,
trailer?
the new trailer. Yes. Oh my
Happy
god.
birthday, Haymitch, right out the gate. I was a mess.
Oh,
Right out the
right
gate.
on
Said
4th of
saying happy
July
birthday,
because I
Haymitch.
forgot
Done.
that. I forgot that
Done.
Reaping Day is July 4th, which
It's
again
July 4th.
mhm, yeah, I don't remember if that was said, like, a lot in the first Hunger Games,
I don't think it was, I think it was implied more than like
but then,
explicitly
like,
stated.
actually said. Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
just kicking that trailer off with Sid jumping on him was
Oh,
like, okay, so we're just gonna
oh,
cry
yeah,
now. We're just gonna
the
cry
whole time. Yep.
the whole time.
Um,
Whole time.
I'm just still
And
amazed
yeah.
too that she has created this world that is so believable yet unbelievable. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like the books actually keep getting better,
I think so.
I think that because you're getting the backstory of this is how it came. I thought I just saw too, she's got another one coming up
I also
unless it
think
was
it's like astounding to me, just like generally speaking, that there's not a lot of like canon divergence. Like,
Right.
yeah, I don't read it and go, well, that doesn't fit. That doesn't make sense. Like,
No,
she's
like
done a
it
really
yeah.
good job keeping like a timelines together, family trees together. Like when
Yeah.
you realize that Haymitch's best friend is Burdick, Burdick is Katniss's dad,
Yes.
that
Yes.
there's a whole different timeline where had things
Mhm.
gone differently, that's Uncle Haymitch and not
Yeah.
Haymitch the town drunk.
Yeah.
Like there's a very like nothing ever makes me feel like it's pulled out of the proper storyline. Like where you're like, well, that's not how that would have
Yeah.
fit together.
Yeah.
Like she's a very, very good job.
Well, and talking about, there was a winner one time, but we don't ever talk about. Like, President Snow does not wanna talk about Lucy Gray. Like, they're
Yeah.
so tied together, and I just think, "Wow." And then, of course, she writes these, and then it's like what's happening in her own politics mirrors it. I mean, she's writing it before it's not like she's writing about right now necessarily, but it's
Right.
like, dang, that's like
Well,
And I
didn't one
think
of you
some of
say that like she made a comment or that she writes when she feels
she
like
has something to say.
something
she
to
has something to
say? So I
say.
don't think
Yep.
that's. I think I would think that's very intentional. That
I think it
she's
is
Well,
very intentional.
yeah,
Crazy
but it
how
ends up
like
being
it's
like crazy alike,
ahead of
not just
time.
like yeah,
Like
yeah.
but the new book, it's just being developed. So it's not like
Yeah,
it's a collection of short stories called The Dark
that's what it
Days,
is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's gonna do three this per Scholastic. It's gonna be three shorter stories that are focusing on the first war before the Hunger Games
That's what
starts.
a lot of people are saying. They're like, "I would like to know what got us here. What
What
is
got us
yeah.
here?
the thing that
Like,
got
are
us
we
to this?"
currently living that right now?
Mm.
Okay.
Peak. But
So
I just her writing is so good, and I think it's very rare that you come up with something that I mean, it's technically a middle grades book, just like Harry Potter, but it's one that all ages seem to like it, which I think
yeah,
is crazy awesome. So
and I thought the audiobook was just phenomenal.
excellent.
Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
worried
I'm
about
gonna
Jefferson White as, like, the
no, he was
narrator, like I
great.
said last
He was
time, but he was
great.
so
Yeah.
perfect. And
Hmm.
all the interviews about the movie that are, like, coming out right now, I forget the last name of the kid that's playing Haymitch, his first name is Joe. Everyone's like, "He's devastatingly good." Like,
Yeah.
his
Oh yeah.
his performance as Haymitch is going to absolutely wreck you. I was like,
Yes.
"Great, great,
Yes.
perfect."
Yep. Um, I read also Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is our next month's book of the month, so I won't talk about
Yes.
that. Finally, like I said, I had like very deep reads. I read Whistler, Ann Patchett's new book. I had an
Mhm.
amazing opportunity to head up north to Bar Harbor, Michigan, which is near Petoskey, to go listen to her speak. I got a
Mhm.
signed copy. Um,
So
I
cool.
picked up two books at the McLean and Eakin. I forget what an amazing independent bookstore that is up there for how far away Petoskey is from anything
Mhm.
other than Traverse City. They bring they bring crazy good authors in. They had Veronica
Huh.
Roth a few weeks ago, and I did not
That's
know it.
awesome.
They brought Matt Dinneman in. I was like, "How did I?" So I'm following them now because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Like,
like a
I need
3-hour
to know
drive for
all the
me,
things.
and I'm like, "I love going up there. It's beautiful." Bought a couple books from them, but and I really liked this book. I think I may have liked it because I knew the story behind it
Huh.
a little bit more. Ann Patchett, I feel, and I liked Tom Lake, and I know that you guys didn't necessarily like Tom Lake,
It's not
because
that.
she's one of those authors that writes about nothing but everything. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not a lot
And I think
happens,
you
but
said
then you
that
get
last
to the
time too.
end and you're
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
like, wow, really makes you think. Whistler was kind of the same way. But she shared some of her ideas behind it and a little bit of her writing process. And I want to be
Yeah,
her friend.
yeah. So Ann Patchett,
Well, she is
if
really
you're
good friends.
listening.
I know she says one of her favorite areas. She like chooses, she's been up there 4 or 5 times. Um,
Mhm.
and she's very good friends with the owners of McLean and Eakin. And
Nice.
she said, she goes, the best bookstore is McLean and Eakin. She goes, and I own a bookstore. I'm just
Yeah.
telling you that
I'm just like, this
the
one's good.
people there are so knowledgeable. They are so helpful. I just think that they're a great bookstore. She's become very good friends with the family, comes to visit them. Casually throws in that Tom Hanks and her are friends. That's how he came
Oh, yeah, okay.
to do the audio for the Dutch House. And then another question was about Meryl Streep. Like, well, how did you get Meryl Streep to do Tom Lake? And she's like, well, my agent in England is Felicity Blunt, which is
Okay.
Emily Blunt's sister and Mary. And so you're like,
Okay,
okay, girl,
all
you
right.
know some
That girl's
people.
got
Sure.
And she's
connections.
like,
Right.
so she's like, we have the same agent. I basically emailed her and was like, hey, is there any chance she'd be interested in doing audio? And I'm like, oh my gosh. She does her own audio for this one. So I kind of, this is one
Okay.
like Marianne, like you said, I might listen to it this month now after reading it, just to hear her own voice.
Yeah.
It's about a woman she sees her stepfather at the Met in New York, hasn't seen him since she was 9 years old, and she's now in her 50s.
Mm.
And they reconnect and talk about what happened in this incident that brought them together and tore them apart was a terrible car accident.
Mhm.
And so it's told kind of like as they're in the future talking about everything they missed. And even though this man was only in her life for like 2 years or a year and a half, he was very instrumental in who she became and things like that. But a lot of people were saying this is the most autobiographical book she's ever done. But and it is and it isn't. It's one of those like there's some coincidences like the woman is an English teacher, but she wanted to be a writer. Like she's a writer.
Okay.
The husband is a doctor. Her husband is a doctor. Um
Mm.
her mother remarried 3 times, so she has 2 stepfathers. She was also in a car accident when she was younger, but she even said, my sister read it and goes, "That's not what happened." She goes, "Exactly. It's not our car
It's
accident."
not
It's
yeah.
not autobiographical. It's one of
Yeah.
those you write what you know kind of
Right.
things.
Like
Right.
inspired by
Yes.
like this happened to me, what would
Yes.
happen if
Yeah.
these things diverged? Yeah.
And there is a horse on the cover, and the horse. There's actually, I was like, "Is
I
there a
did
horse
just
in
see
this?"
that.
Because I hate it when you put a horse on the cover and there's no horse in it. There is. There's a story that she is told while after they've been in this car accident and they're waiting to get rescued. There's a story about a horse named Whistler, and it comes up
Okay.
several times in the novel. One of those things. So it's very beautifully written. She's a very beautiful writer. Very subtle. She talked about losing a really good friend to cancer, right before she started writing this book, which was actually supposed to pseudo be a follow-up to Tom Lake. It was supposed to be this like one of the daughter's stories.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, so very, very interesting. She was great to listen to, like to hear her talk, hear her
Yeah.
speak. She was a wonderful person. Um, so I'm really looking forward to more up at McLean and Eakin.
Yeah.
All right. So Marianne, what'd you read?
Okay. So of course I read Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. For some reason I forgot to put it on my Goodreads shelf, but make sure I do that. And we all know that was a lot of fun. I read a couple of arcs that are actually out, but they've been sitting on my NetGalley shelf. So one of them was The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth. It's only the second book I've read by her. I read Mad Mabel, which I've seen lots of like positive coverage of. I didn't really get it. It's about this 80-year-old lady who this is a few months ago, but anyhow, but Mad Mabel is like super popular right now. I didn't quite get the hype. Um, but The Soulmate was good. The only thing that was kind of odd is that the narrator of most of the book is dead. Okay. She's the one who got killed at the beginning of the book and she tells the story from her point of view. So,
Oh my God. Read what you wrote. And
uh-huh.
in my mind, I thought you meant like the actual human
No,
narrator.
no,
Like
no, no, no,
she
no,
died.
no.
I was
No,
like, what? I get the character.
the character. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
with you now. I was like, she died
Yeah.
and they just let it stay. I was like, what? All right,
Uh,
I'm with you now. The character, the narrating character died.
like so
Okay.
the person who got killed
All right.
tells the story from her point of view, which I just thought
I'm with you now.
was kind to me. I don't know. Sometimes it was kind of odd. Like she's looking down and watching all these people who were
Mhm.
trying to figure out who killed her and all this sort of stuff. So I
Okay.
thought that was I thought that was a little weird,
Yeah.
but good twists and turns. Set in Australia, if I remember correctly.
Ooh,
Yes.
love it.
So that was one of 2 books I read this month that were set in Australia. I read another book that it actually came out on July 1st, and I had it as an ARC. It is, I think, a Reese's book club pick,
Okay.
and I really liked it. You know, I'm not a sports ball fan, but this is all about a family that is like obsessed with soccer. The
Okay.
mom, the mom, Liz, um, she was an up and coming soccer player. I believe she might have played on the American team for like the World Cup, or she was really pretty high up
Mhm.
in soccer. and then found out she was pregnant. And then we find out later on who the father is, and there's some problematic issues there. But so she gives birth to her daughter, names her after, was it Mia Hamm is
Yep.
the
That
um,
is the soccer player.
soccer player. And then she has a second baby like 5 years later, something like that, by the same baby daddy, but he comes to visit and gets her knocked up again. But this one is like a soccer prodigy.
Hmm.
And she's also named after a soccer player, but I don't remember who it is, but her nickname was Cricket. And she is like soccer is her life. And the mom and the other sister, like their life is getting Cricket to be the best soccer player that she can be. And then mom dies. So now the sister is left with getting Cricket to become the best soccer player that she can be.
Hmm.
And then there is a crisis, and Cricket has to choose between soccer and this crisis, helping out in this crisis. And it's like a life or death crisis.
Okay.
And so that's actually pretty much at the beginning of the book. You learn about what this life or death crisis is.
Hmm.
And then as it goes along, you find out like Cricket's whole story and how she became like this amazing soccer player. She's like in the LA Olympics. And one thing that was a little weird about this is some of it is set in the future, like the near future, not like science fiction future,
Hmm.
but like in the 2028 LA Olympics, which
Okay.
I just find a little odd only because what if there's a huge earthquake and LA is destroyed
Right.
and there is no LA Olympics? Then what do? Then your
Yeah.
book makes no sense at all. But whatever.
Then it
But
becomes extra fictiony.
yes, but
Well,
it was
that's
just
like
a
we talked about the 2020 books,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
which Red, White, and Blue is one of them. I was like,
yeah.
Right. You're like, you would not have
July
been doing
2020?
any of those
No, you
things.
wouldn't be doing that. But anyway.
Yeah, so but yeah, so that's the only thing that kind of threw me off a little bit, but this is just the kind of book that I really like. There was some romance, the but it's like I like the family dynamics, and even though there was a lot of sports talk in it,
Hmm.
you needed it because that's how you really understood Cricket. Talking about all the things she does for her workouts and whatever. You understand her, even though it's stuff like, oh, who cares about any of this stuff? But
Yeah.
at the same time, you needed to know that for Cricket. So really like that one a lot. Like I said, I did read an arc, but it is out now. Definitely recommend it. Um, Take Me With You by Stephen Rowley, who wrote The Guncle. This was not my favorite. It was very bizarre. It's like,
That's what you were saying. I think you were
yeah,
either texting us or talking about it when we were recording the last one, that
yeah.
this was not it.
It it's like science fiction and like this these husbands are having like they've been together for like 30 years and they're having problems and then one of them disappears in this beam of light for a year. And was like it was bizarre. I'm really not sure what I read. Okay. Yeah. Not my favorite. Um I read Dolly All the Time by Annabelle Monahan. I love her books. I actually just found out she lives here in the Tampa Bay area.
Ooh,
Uh,
Oh,
nice.
she writes romances. Most of them are pretty closed door, not super spicy. But usually, what I really like about them is that the women are not like 22-year-old ingenues. They've
Yeah.
lived their lives. So, like in this particular one, Dolly is, I think, 39 years old. She has a 13-year-old son that her boyfriend handed her $300 and told her to take care of it. And so she used the money to buy a crib instead of his version of taking
oh,
care of it. So she's been
Mhm.
taking care of her son. So it's like she's seen life and then she meets she lives in this town where this millionaire family, they're in Rhode Island, and this like generationally wealthy family, the town is named after them. One of the sons is, I think it's the eldest son, he gets a flat tire, has no idea how to change it, so she changes it for him, and they end up entering into a fake dating situation
Mm.
because
Love a fake dating situation.
His girlfriend, his fiancée actually just dumped him for a Yankees player, very publicly.
Mhm.
So he wants to make it look like he's got somebody and he's not moping because he's also trying to become CEO of the family when his dad retires. And of course, the whole fake dating situation. The only thing I didn't like was the way it blew up. I was still kind of mad at him, but Dolly, because we know Dolly's going to forgive him, but
Right.
I think she just forgave him a little too easily. She let him off the hook a little too easily, but still a lot of fun. I also listened to it. I ear read this one as well because when I had to drive to Tampa um, for for a training for 3 days, this came up on my Libby hold, and so I listened to it as well. Julia Whalen is the narrator, and so it was a lot of fun. It was a great way to pass the time driving because I really like this book a lot. I think I saw you had this one in your notes as well. Beautiful Ugly by
Yeah.
Alice Feeney.
I think did we all read that one? Sarah, did you
Say,
read Beautiful
you
Ugly
guys have
too?
this said the same thing about it that I said when I read it back in December. So I think it's funny that
Yeah.
you read it.
I have no idea what I
It
I
read,
was like,
basically,
it popped up on my Libby as like a skip the line, and I was like, I got a long way to drive. I'll
Yeah,
listen to this one. I liked
yeah,
your other books, and I mean, I'm going to talk
yeah.
about it in a minute. So you go
M
first, Marianne, and then
well,
I'll give my opinion.
My entire Goodreads, review is should have DNF'd when I had the chance. That's my entire Goodreads, okay? Scotland was a good thing. I love Scotland, but it was just very bizarre. Then, let's see, I read After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Love Taylor Jenkins Reid. Her books always have this, they just get to me. These are books that just
Mhm.
get to me. This is about a married couple. They've been together, I forget, either from high school or college. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but now they've been married for like 9 or 10 years and they're kind of drifting apart. They're squabbling a lot and they decide to take a year off from each other and just do what they want to do for a year, not be in contact. If that means being in contact with other people, that was fine.
Mhm.
Um, it was a lot to think about. I thought the resolution was a little too easy. My only it was definitely a book
Mm.
that made you think about like relationships and stuff like that. But I just thought the resolution was a little too easy. But um, I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, so definitely liked it, and it pretty much could have ended one of two ways. Either them back together or not together. So I was happy with the way it ended, but I thought it happened a little too easily. Then the last one is set in Australia. Again, I got this through NetGalley, even though technically it wasn't an arc.
Mm.
A publicist had sent me the second book in this series, and so she sent me the first book in
Oh, that's
case,
super handy. Yeah.
yeah, in
Yeah, yeah,
case I
yeah.
hadn't read it. And so it's about these academic rivals, and they've been like through undergrad through their PhDs, they've been rivals. And she her research is about popular fiction and
Okay.
his about is more about like Shakespeare and more Elizabethan era
Mhm.
fiction. So they disagree on a lot of fronts. They've been like squabbling ever since like undergrad. And then the job market's really tight. They can't find full-time jobs and they both apply for this full-time job in Tasmania, which I had no idea was like part of Australia. I just
Yes,
learned
I have a
something.
friend there. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the contract, there's a thing about partner hire, mainly that if you get a job and you have a spouse you're bringing with you, they'll try and find a job for your spouse. So she gets the job and offers to bring him as the partner hire, and so they have a fake marriage.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. Sadie, the woman, she whined too much for my
Mm.
taste, only because her sister basically raised her, and they had a falling out when she got into this fake marriage, and so she whined about that a lot. Okay, I liked her take on popular fiction. And what was really fun is some of the books, like she would recommend books to her sister before they had this falling out, and they were like
Yeah.
real books. Like
Well,
one
that's
of,
fun. So it's kinda like meta. Like,
yeah,
a little, like, book within a book within not a
yes.
book within a book, but, like,
And there are books that,
nonfiction and fiction? I don't know. I know
yeah,
what you're saying, though. I like it.
but like one of the books that she recommended, like her sister was like this high powered lawyer and but liked to read romance on, on her downtime. And so Sadie would give her sister books, and like one of them was Love Light Farms by BK
Oh, yeah.
Borison, which I've
Yeah.
read.
You're like, "I know
Um,
that
uh,
one."
one that she was referencing in class was Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think I sent you guys a screenshot of
Yeah.
it. There's a few, Talia Hibbert. There's another one. So it was like, oh, I've read that. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So that was fun. But my favorite part of it is Jonah, the guy. All of his like inner thoughts were footnotes. So
Oh, okay.
so I didn't notice it till I was like 2 or 3 chapters in, and then I noticed that if you clicked on the footnote, it was like tell you what he was really thinking. Like,
Well, that's super fun.
so I thought that was just a great plot device. I just thought that was like so for 2 academics, I just thought that was just brilliant. So now I'm reading the second one, which I'm liking a little bit better because the main female character is not as annoying, but uh, the author's name is Jodi McAllister, and definitely I'm enjoying the books. So I think that's all of mine. So okay, here we go
Here
with
we go.
Kit.
Oh, before we even jump into
Buckle
that,
up.
do you guys yeah, buckle up. But before that, because you mentioned, I forget, I'm gonna already blank on which book you were just talking about, Marianne, where the main
Uh,
character is not the young ingenue, like it's like actual
Dolly all the
adults.
time.
Dolly all the time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever read Dumplin' by Julie Murphy? It's for
Feel like I have. I
forever
know.
ago. But she's an author that's kind of like, I loved that book, so she's always kind of on my radar.
Huh.
She has a new book coming out at the end of July called Vera Stein is Fine, and she's ramping up her kind of social media marketing. The entire premise is that the main character is like a 40-year-old,
Yeah.
and she's like
Okay.
not super skinny, but it's all kind of like um it's a retirement facility among Hollywood actors and industry professionals, like in Palm Springs, is kind of where it takes place. I pre-ordered. I haven't read it yet, but it sounds hilarious
Right.
because she's some Vera Stein who is only 40 somehow manages to get herself into like this retirement community that's full of like scream queens and like all this stuff. So
That
I
sounds fun.
pre-ordered that because it sounds awesome, but her big kind of marketing push is that like this is for all of my readers who are 40 and not a size 2 to remember that
Love it.
like you get to be the main character too.
Yeah,
And
and
I
that's
was
one of the things that
immediately sold. I was like,
yeah.
yes, I'm in. I know I love you as an author already, but like what a
Mhm.
great premise. And it
Yes,
also sounds
exactly.
hilarious.
I love that one, like, especially for romances that when, like I said, Anna Monahan is good about that. Like most of her characters have kids or divorced. They had, you know, like summer romance, like her husband leaves her since she meets a guy who because her dog pees on him. But yeah, fun stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Okay,
one to
Kit,
just keep on the radar. All
you're
right.
up.
So before everything else, I'm reading an obscene amount of textbooks for
Oh,
my college
fun.
classes. I'm learning all about multilingual learners and IEPs. Those are my 2 classes right now.
Oh,
A lot of
excellent.
technical information. Excellent information. Very technical. I'm going to be very prepared to start the school year, but I'm spending a lot of time on that. So I did, of course, listen to several Frida McFadden books. Here's where I'm going to stand on Frida McFadden. The more you listen, the more you absolutely just forget what's happening because
Yeah.
they're all well written and very catchy and like immensely listenable. Like you could
Right.
just listen, but they start to run together. Some of them are, so I listened to 3. 2 of them stand out. The third, I could not even begin to tell you what it's about, except for the fact that it's a divorce. So the first one is The Intruder. I loved this one. This is about a lady who she's really trying to start over. She's having a bit of a midlife crisis. She's just doesn't know what she wants to do. So she rents this kind of remote cabin to kind of recenter herself. And then there's a massive storm. She can't leave. She's got a creepy landlord that you're not sure if he's like actually dangerous or just kind of like a lonely dude that's like, I have someone to talk to now. She's got a neighbor that's nearby that seems nice, but because it's a thriller, you know there's something more going on. And then during the storm, this young girl just shows up in her shed, like trying to get out of the storm, and she invites her into her house. And from there, it becomes like a hostage situation, but you don't know why. Like, this girl has some ulterior motives, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? It was really, really good. The twist was really played out. I kind of knew where it was headed, but the why, like why this girl was there, you get a good reveal at the end on that. I listened to the divorce. I had to look it up and still couldn't tell you what happened in this book. No clue. Like, clearly there was a divorce involved. I looked it up when I wrote this summary a few days ago and again have forgotten what it is. So that's not one I would recommend. The last one I listened to was Want to Know a Secret, which I thought this one was excellent. This one is about, we could listen to it as a podcast because it hits a lot of high points. But the main character is a YouTube baker, and she's like an influencer, but it's also very much like a Desperate Housewives kind of neighborhood where like everyone's kind of rich, everyone's trying to put, nobody is really friends, everybody's manipulating everyone. But her like niche is that she makes things that everyone knows how to make, but she tweaks one thing and that's the secret. So at the end, she'll be like, you want to know my secret? I used Greek yogurt. Or you want to know my secret? I replaced blah, blah, blah with peanut butter, which is like just a very cute, like kitschy kind of thing.
Right.
And then she starts to receive threatening messages, like text messages. Her kid goes missing for a hot second, just like wanders out of the backyard. And someone texts her and is like, your son's not where you think he is. Like, so somebody is watching her and you think you know who it is. And then it ends up being someone totally different. And then you find out in the end why that person is doing it. And you're like, oh shit. Like, so it's a very good, like very twisty and turny. And it's another one where the more I listen to Frida McFadden, the more I can kind of figure out who is the bad guy before I know what it is. But she's still very good about the why. Like, I think I figured it out. And then you're like, oh, damn. Like, not quite correct. So those are my 3 Frida McFadden books. Like I said earlier, I drive a lot in the summer. During the school year, my commute is only 10 minutes. So I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks.
Right.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks in the summer because I'll listen to them while I'm hiking. I listen to them while I'm driving. If I'm on a bike ride, I listen to books nonstop. So my other audiobooks, the first one is One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. This one had so much potential and I wanted to love it so much. And then the ending was horrible. I hated how it played out. It's set on a remote island. It's several couples have signed up for One Perfect Couple, which is a reality dating show. And the idea is that they're supposed to figure out who is the best couple of the whole bunch. But a storm cuts them off almost immediately. And not just like a little storm, like a big storm. People are dying. There's no radio. It becomes Lord of the Flies real fucking fast. People are keeping diary entries, which is where I thought the potential really was. Cause like now you have an unreliable narrator because we're like jumping from perspectives. And you're like, is what you're writing in the journal like reality? Or are you trying to tell a story because you killed someone because you don't know who killed this other person? And then the ending comes up really fast and it just doesn't pay off. I thought the writing is really good. I would read other books by Ruth Ware, but I didn't love that final twist. Then I too listened to Beautiful Ugly because clearly we did not listen to Sarah in December.
I read it. So I didn't have at least the advantage of having a good narrator. So you had
Richard Armitage, right? I love Richard Armitage so much. And he's a great narrator. He should narrate all the things. But I liked the premise. Like I liked the idea of like, how did you get to where you are? But then I know, Marianne, like you texted us and you're
I
like,
was so
chapter
confused
title's
at the
wrong.
end.
And I was
Yeah.
like, chapter title's right, but it feels
Yeah.
I was thinking
wrong.
that too. I was like, wait, isn't there a twist? I think
Yeah.
that's where the twist
Yes.
happens.
But it
And
was
I think
so ambiguous. You know, it was
right.
like,
So
like
the twist either
yeah.
needed to be way more obvious,
Yeah.
I thought. Like you needed to really understand
Yes.
Mhm.
who these people were. I'm trying not to give anything away, but
Yeah, I
the
know,
three
it's
of us
hard.
know. You either needed to really understand who these people were, or it needed to totally blindside you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't do either of those things.
It just confused
Which
me. So
I was surprised because the other book I read by Alice Feeney, the twist was so well
So
played
good.
that I was
So
like
good.
yelling at the audiobook in the car
This
because I
twist
did not
has
see it
it
coming
kind
at
of had
all.
like weird magic in it too, though.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't magic,
Like-
but it was. It was just like culty, I
right.
guess.
Yeah.
Like,
It was culty
and that's why I
and
was like, disappointing.
and
Love the
I
island in Scotland. Love the
Yes.
idea that like
and
we
I
start
liked
today.
like her like
and
the
honestly, it
job
just
that she
was
had, like her artwork. Like there were so many
Mhm.
cool little bits
Oh,
and pieces.
yes.
it's just so creepy, that
It just
idea
didn't
of
come
your
together.
trap there, and like you can't get off with the ferry only runs like when they feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it, basically. It was like that. Well, that was like really claustrophobic feeling. So
And a lot of it
But
was
yeah.
like
It was the first Alice Feeney I read. And
so you didn't have,
so
like, a
I was
comparison.
like,
same.
Yeah.
and now I'm like, whoa, all the other ones are amazing. So,
So
Okay.
good.
I'm
This
glad I
one just didn't
continued.
yeah.
Yeah.
This one just didn't pay off the way the other one
Mhm.
did. I think though it could be cool as like a TV show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you just getting extra like context through like the
Yeah.
visuals, I think could play it out better. I just didn't think it was
Mhm.
clear enough who was doing what and when.
Yeah.
And it threw me off. Then I read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I'm not, generally speaking, so sorry, Emily Henry, not a huge Emily Henry fan.
Mm.
I have mixed feelings on a lot of her books, and I'm not entirely sure why, because they're good, but just like they're maybe just not for me.
Yeah.
This one have you guys read this one, People We Meet on Vacation? This one for me fell right squarely into the thing we always yell about, which is just fucking talk to each other.
Right.
Like just talk to each other. Because you're best friends. Like it's not like it's a stranger with miscommunications.
Yeah.
Like you guys actually know each other very, very well. Knock it off. I do love the idea of like these two friends that no matter what, they always take a summer trip together.
Right. That
That
sounds
it's just
fun.
kind of like I loved that idea. And I did like that they were like a bit of an odd couple. Like they really on paper are not a match as friends or in a relationship.
Mhm.
I don't love a slow
But they
burn.
are. But they work.
But they are.
Like,
But they were.
there's-
Yes.
Yeah.
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 But on paper, you're like, I could see why these two don't pan out.
Yeah.
They needed to communicate better. So many things could have been fixed with like one sentence of like, hey, how
Right.
did you actually feel about what happened there?
Right. Was it
Like,
Croatia that it happened in?
Croatia. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, is it like, how did you actually feel about that? Instead
Yeah.
of being like, oh no, I'm scared. I'm not going to talk to my best friend for 3 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just do the thing.
Nothing.
All right. So I read Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I did not love this one. Where the other one I thought was like kind of cute and inappropriate. This one was just straight up inappropriate. So I'm going to spoil it now. Anyways, the main character is he's like a businessman. It's kind of like a tech bro kind of guy. He's trying to make a business deal. He's having a horrendous time connecting with this other guy. And someone gives him the suggestion that like, this other dude is more about relationships. Like you can give him all the hard numbers in the world. You can tell him why you're the best person to partner with, but he needs to feel like he relates to you. So when this guy goes, oh, my wife is pregnant. Homeboy goes, mine too. My fiance is also pregnant. He does not have a fiance and she is not pregnant. So the guy's like, oh my God, that's amazing. Why don't you come to our house for a dinner this weekend? Like suddenly he has an in, but it's all a lie. So he needs to find someone to be his fake fiance who's willing to pretend that she is like very early pregnancy.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the main girl has been fired. She was part of a startup. The person fired her even though she's very good at her job. She was like, if you stay more than a year, I have to pay you more and I don't want to. So gets rid of her. So now she's down on her luck. She's supposed to move out of her parents' home. She can't because she doesn't have a job. And they just happen to meet each other on the street and kind of just like commiserate and agree to be each other's fake date. Like, you be
Okay.
my fake date to this thing with my boss, and then we can like see if we can get out of it somehow. I'll be your date to your high school reunion so you can show up this girl that fired you. And then the shenanigans are great, the banter is great. The corporate couple is where it lost me, because the pregnant wife, realizes very, very early on that the main character is not pregnant,
Okay.
and that she thinks they're just faking the pregnancy, not that they're not together.
Okay.
Right.
So they orchestrate, her and her husband, who this dude's trying to do business with, start orchestrating more and more uncomfortable situations just to see if they can get him to break.
Ooh,
So the
ooh.
first one is they invite him to like a Lamaze class, which you're like, hilarious, right? Because like these two, not only are they not pregnant, they don't even really like each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's super controlling, he's very rigid, he's having a hard time like being even in a fake relationship. So like that's funny. But then they take him to this weird like therapy group sort of thing, very similar to Camp Haven.
Weird
only
therapy in a Megan Quinn
yeah.
novel? I can't imagine
So like
that.
same idea, but way more uncomfortable, because you're supposed to reenact the night that you conceived in front of other people. Like, it's just one step too far.
Right.
And then the one that really got me was,
What if you don't know too? Like,
right.
Yeah.
some people,
Well, then you're
some
supposed to
people don't know.
imagine. Right. You're supposed to imagine what you hoped it was like. Like, it's just all very weird. And then the lady invites the main character to go bra shopping and breast pump shopping. Like, let's just go get the stuff we need for like after we have our babies. And the other lady's like way more pregnant. So that could have been funny. But then she's like, the lady's like measuring them for bras, and the boss's wife is like, look at my boobs, and just pulls her shirt up. And the other girl's like, nope, I don't. This is very uncomfortable for me. I don't need to look at your chest. And she's like, why don't you just feel them so you know what it feels like when they're like this heavy? And she's like, I do not want that. And then the lady grabs her hand and makes her feel her up. And I was like, that's assault. Like, you got two very clear no's. And you did it anyways. And that's where the book totally lost me. I was like, I kept listening because I was hoping they would address the uncomfortableness eventually. And they just don't. They just brush it off. They're just like, that's a thing that happened. We were trying to see if we could get you to break and admit that you weren't pregnant. And I was like, that's like, lying about being pregnant is horrible, but like, making people grab your boobs,
uncomfortable
also horrible.
things for somebody who's not pregnant, making them do uncomfortable things like that is
Oh yeah, and
I just
and
didn't
that's
love
what
how it
one of
played
the
out.
things that made me so uncomfortable sometimes with the one we read is just the whole idea of your boss being there when you're trying to do all of these things, and that's just kind of that's definitely icky, and especially when you get to the physical part, so
Yeah. And I thought in Till Summer Do Us Part, they dealt with that. Like, everyone was acknowledging that this is super uncomfortable.
This is
I'm like,
super
we
weird.
should not be doing this. And in the end, they all go their separate ways. Like, you can choose to be friends with the Chads if you want to be, but that is not your boss anymore. Like, you've moved on to other things. This one, it's just like, that's a thing that happened. And I was like, ooh, that should not have been a thing that happened. But it did. Then I listened to Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. I love this one. I'm going to talk about it a lot more later, so I'm going to kind of like leave it be for here. But it's basically a girl having an identity crisis. She doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. She has a metric ton of trauma. And then she impulse buys a school bus and wants to renovate it into a schoolie, but she does not have those skills. She has a inheritance that she can use, so money is not an issue for like fixing it up. And so Matt, who co-owns a mechanic shop, is like, I will help you. He's been in love with this girl for like a fucking year, and she's just too afraid to take the leap. So what I really loved about this one is, they're going to end up together. That's the point of a romance. But it's such an honest look at how trauma can fuck up a relationship. Like, Lane is the main character. She does not know how to be in a relationship. She cannot do it. And I'll talk a little bit more later why, but the author doesn't let anyone off the hook. Like, there's an acknowledgement that like we kind of like super lust after each other and like want to be together, but we have to deal with the things for ourselves before we can do it. And I thought that was a really, really good way to look at it. And then I had 2 arcs, both from Edelweiss. The Sourdough Compendium by A.G. Slattery is a gothic fairy tale collection. So good. I read this one a bit at a time, so I didn't read it all in one go. Some stories I liked more than others, but it is a really solid fairy tale horror collection. And then Forever is the Sweetest. It's so good.
The title is great. I'm like, oh, that's a fun title.
And the cover is beautiful. Like if you look the book up. Forever is the Sweetest Con by Joanna Thurlow. This is just a straight up, rom-com. It's great. It's a reality show and is set in the wilderness. So it was like obviously perfect for me. And the banter in this one is super good too. And then I read Till Summer Do Us Part, which we talked about a lot. And now on to our unhinged book. This one is called Gage. It's a sentient ruler romance, and it is by Imogen Noed. I don't know. I have come to the place in my life where I now have a reputation because this book got sent to me by no less than 6 people. They were like, we know who should read this one. I was prepared for this one to be like I don't love it. And I think mostly because the summary is so short that I was like, it's a sentient rumor romance. It is a first in a series, the Touch of Sentience series, book 1. The entire synopsis is Alice's mom calls her the day before her 27th birthday, claiming that anything she puts inside of herself after midnight will turn into a human. So what does Alice do? Shove a ruler up there, of course. Now Alice has to learn to live with her new boyfriend, Gage, who's hung like a ruler and likes to measure stuff.
God.
That's the entire summary. And I was like, what? And then you read the book, and Imogen, man, this author.
She liked one of your comments or something.
Yeah, she put so much thought into like why
of the
that
ruler.
By the end I was like, I buy it. Like, I buy it. So the premise is what it is, what I just said. Poor Alice knows nothing about it until about 11:30 the night of her birthday, before her birthday. So she's got like a half an hour to like process the fact that she has a magic vagina that can turn things human. And the mother, in giving her like this knowledge, goes, she's like, so what? I'm just never, like, nothing ever again? Like, no toys, no nothing? And her mom's like, no, you just have to be really conscientious about the fact that whatever you do, when it becomes human, it will have all the personality traits of the item. And then she drops the knowledge that Alice's dad used to be a very fancy watch. And everything starts to come together for Alice because Alice is like, he's so punctual. He's so... And Alice is freaking out. She's like, what if I pick wrong? And the mom's like, I picked wrong the first time too. Once they're sentient, they're very devoted to you, but you can move on. So whatever mom used first moves on and has a very happy life. So Alice understands the fact that she's got this power, but she might fuck it up, which cues one of the funniest book montages I've ever read as Alice wanders through her house debating the personalities of every inanimate object there is. Because at this point, it's a foregone conclusion. She doesn't believe it, but she's leery of the fact that like maybe it is true. 100%. First of all, she wants to prove her mother wrong. That like mom's just crazy.
This is not.
Yeah. Mom's not crazy. It's true. But so she lands on this ruler because she's like, he's probably going to be pretty clean cut and like everything by the number. But then he comes to life and he's measuring fucking everything in her house to create the optimal environment for like living. Like very feng shui like, but based on, and he's obsessed with pulling the measuring tape out and letting it go and hearing the snap.
That would drive me crazy after a while.
That would drive me
I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like, stop.
But the thing that really like got me, he named himself Gage.
I would say the fact he's named Gage is that like, that's.
Yeah. But the thing, and then it's very smutty and like whatever. But then we get the backstory of like where this curse came from. And it all connects back to King Midas and the Midas touch and how like anything he, turns to gold and is a statue. So
Yeah.
she is a descendant of King Midas's daughter. And this is like a payback curse kind of thing that like anything you touch is going to come to life, like the opposite, as opposed to being frozen. But there's like a line in it that I was like, damn, Imogen, like she's talking to her mom about this curse and is like, but I don't know if I like this. I don't know if this, that, the other. And the mom is like, it's only a curse if you think of it that way. Like it's all about your frame of reference. Like you've been given this power. What are you going to do with it? Which is such a weird fucking power, but is so hilarious. So that was it was super, super unhinged, but actually really well thought out. And then the last part of the book, which is what makes it a series, hilariously, Gage is like feeling sympathy for the other inanimate objects in the house. And he's like, hey, first of all, he's very angry at Imogen's vibrator, or not Imogen's, Alice's vibrator. He's like, don't you ever turn that thing to life. He's an asshole. That was like hilarious that these like sentient objects have like they got beef. He's like, absolutely not. That thing is never, ever being turned to life. And he goes, however, there's a Sharpie in your drawer that's starting to dry out. It's going to be dead soon. And normally you would throw it out, but you should consider giving it like a life.
Oh my gosh.
Alice is like, I'm sorry. What? Like, she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's like, that's my friend. And I don't want you to throw him away. But
is he thinking about a threesome then? Like,
he is. Yes. He's like, you know what? You should.
If
this
you
could
get
be fun for all of us.
do a little
But
thing.
immediately I'm like, what? The funniest part was the personality that she gave Gage. Like that was the best part of the entire book. Like the smut, fine. The curse, fine. Watching Gage try and be a human, but having the personality of a ruler, hilarious. So now I'm thinking ahead to like, what personality do you give a half dried out Sharpie? Like what? Like
what do they
prefer?
Maybe they're artists or something, maybe?
Yeah, like
and
immediately
if he's half dried out, does that mean he's going to struggle in the future?
I don't know. Right.
Always
so many questions.
perform or something.
Like, the author so well done making you like care about like how you shouldn't care about a ruler, but I did immediately. I was like,
but you
oh
do.
my God, you do. And now I want to know more about the Sharpie. Like so well done. And it's only like 110 pages long. So it's like a super short story. But that was my unhinged read. And like, strangely, I really like the cover. Like the cover is very like colorful. Like it really worked for my ADD, like, ooh, colors, neon.
Yeah.
Well done. So that was my last one. Moving on.
Okay.
Rapid fire questions. Hopefully everyone's internet
we are full of it today.
does what it's supposed to do for this last little part.
Mm-hmm.
What character do you want to go on a road trip with, Sarah?
I chose Nora from Red, White, and Royal Blue. She's not the sister, right? She's like the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved her because she was the one that she was always giving good advice.
Yes.
And I feel like she'd be good conversation, on a road trip. So, because I was kind of like, oh, God, who do I pick this month? I don't know if I want to travel with it. And I was like, oh, wait, sometimes the minor characters are better. So, Nora it is. How about you, Marianne?
I said Stuart from Dolly all the time. He's like a gazillionaire, but he has a vintage Range Rover from 1994. Ooh. His ex-fiance gave him a brand new Range Rover, which is the one that Dolly was changing the tire on. Mm-hmm. But he's gonna get rid of it because they haven't made them like the 1994 ones, and so he still drives a 1994 Range Rover. So, unfortunately though, he cannot change a tire though if it does blow out, but. He can call one of his servants to come do it. So
someone will do it for him.
Just make sure he keeps his phone charged. So how about you, Kit?
I picked Matt from Next to You. Lane and him go road tripping a few times. He's the best road trip partner because he picks out awesome audiobooks to listen to. Like every book they reference, I'm like, oh yeah, like I would listen to that in the car. He knows all the best camp spots. And most importantly, he is a mechanic. So when shit goes sideways, he can just fix it, which is huge in my book. Like if you know what to do, like I can change a tire
Mhm.
and do some like minor fixes. But when I'm road tripping and things go wrong, I generally text my friends who know more about cars. I'm like, do I need to worry
Yeah.
about this? Like, am I good to just keep going? So having
It's
someone in
normal.
the car with you that can like fix things, huge. So I would pick Matt.
Yes. I always tell Jerry I married him because he can fix cars.
Yeah, dude,
So,
so handy. It's so
yes.
handy. I like that Sarah, always decisive, is changing her answers as we go.
Character down for some reason,
Oh,
and I was like,
okay.
"That's not a
I was
place."
like, Sarah's like retyping
No,
things in.
I was looking at it going, that's not."
That's not it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Sarah, what places would you like to go from your books?
Definitely not the camp in the creepy
No.
camp that we read. Um,
Oh, Camp
so I
Haven.
picked, the UK, London, the UK. Although now that I think about it, because I feel like I said like London's an obvious. I forgot about, I was really interested in that Lake LBJ in Red, White, and
Mm,
Royal Blue in Texas.
yeah.
Like I kind of, it's one
Yeah,
of
yeah,
those
yeah.
like I
Hmm.
want to Google because he said there's a whole bunch of these lakes in Texas that are
Yeah. Did
because
you watch the movie
LBJ.
yet?
No, that's
The
on my
movie's
list for
really
Okay,
today.
good.
it's good. Yeah.
So yeah, but obviously always London, always the UK. But yeah. So Kit, how about you?
I picked Thunder Bay, Ontario from Forever is the Sweetest Con. It's on Lake Superior, which is a section of like I've been a lot to Eastern Ontario because it was just north of New York, but I've
Hmm.
not been out that way. Um, I immediately hopped online to like because the descriptions in the book were like super good, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds like someplace I'd like to go camping and exploring." What was really cool was when I was looking at the maps and stuff, it's kind of there's like another piece of land that comes down like this, so the bay goes yook. It's right
Hmm.
across from Sleeping Giant Provincial Park, which is these like massive, like
Oh,
forested cliffs. It is so pretty. So that's someplace I would definitely go visit. What about you, Marianne?
I picked Australia. I read two books, both Alice Feeney and The Academic Affair by Jodi McAllister, set in Australia. And I would really like to go there sometime.
That's
Definitely.
on my bucket list.
Yeah, for
I thought
sure.
that Alice Feeney was in Scotland.
I think it was
You're
a
right.
yeah,
You're
another one of
right.
your ones.
Beautiful,
Oh, no, no,
ugly,
no,
beautiful,
no.
ugly.
Sally Hepworth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sally
Oh, okay.
Hepworth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yes. I knew there was two.
Yeah.
Okay, so what character would you want to have dinner with? Kit.
I had a hard time picking this month because I read a lot of thrillers and like murder mysteries. I don't want to eat with
Of
any of those
course.
people. I have no thank you. So I ended up going with Matt's family from Next to You. He has a family that is, I want to say, half Samoan, half Canadian. They live way out on Vancouver Island in this kind of like remotish area where they like have a garden, they grow some of their own food. And when they go visit there, they have this absolutely massive family meal where everyone kind of contributes like their specialty to it. And Lane says about 7 million times how delicious the food is. So immediately I'd be like, yeah, like if I'm going to go eat
You're
dinner
like,
with someone,
yes.
I want a huge
Hmm.
spread that has like
Yeah.
Hmm.
some traditional foods, some mashups, like and they supposedly make amazing desserts. So I'm all in on dessert. I love a good dessert. So I picked Matt's family. What about you, Marianne?
I picked, from Fiona from An Academic Affair is kind of a side character, but she is the star of the second book that I'm reading
Oh,
now.
mhm.
But when Sadie and Jonah moved to Tasmania, um, because what happens is Fiona's husband dumps her because he has another family in Melbourne. And so anyhow,
Oh,
she introduces her brother and his wife Sadie to this wine bar, which is also a cafe during the daytime, and it's also a used bookstore. And that just it's not so much that I would go with her there because with her because it just sounds like an amazing place. And then in the second book, which I'm reading now, she hooks up with the owner. So
Hmm.
um, you get really good service. He's been in love with her for a really long
in
time.
more ways than one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right? Now he's only got eyes for Fiona, so, but yeah, so I would pick that. What about you, Sarah?
I said Eddie from Whistler. Eddie is the stepfather that the main character meets in the Met, and he has a very interesting story. one of the things we find out is after the car accident, her mom basically kicks him out, and she's
Mm.
never really understood why. So he's just a very interesting person. He's been an editor. He was a book editor at Houghton Mifflin, I think, and then Random House, like a big name editor. And I just think he just seems to have a lot of stories and a lot of depth to him. He'd be a very interesting person to talk to. So that was my choice. Okay, so how about those top book recommendations and why? Kit, do you want to go first?
I'm sticking with Next to You. Like, I absolutely love that book. I love a road trip romance. Um, I don't want to give too much away, but Lane and Matt, again, they have so much baggage that they have to deal with, and the author deals with it. Like, it's not brushed over. I think everyone and their brother should go see a therapist. There's therapists involved. So everyone deals with what they need to deal with. But in the midst of that, the fucking shenanigans that these two get into, when they go to pick up her bus, she buys the bus impulsively while drunk in the middle of the night. And then the next day is like, hey, Matt, do you have like your commercial driver's license? And he's like, yeah. She goes, you want to go with me to pick up this bus? And he's like, sure. Cause he has a massive crush on her. And then it's like an 11-hour drive. She's like, by the way, so they have to spend the night somewhere, and she books a motel that looked good online, and it's basically a murder motel. Like, you can book it
But of
by the
course,
hour,
it's
but also like
sketchy.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, and it turns into an only one bed moment, but like in the most hilarious fashion. Because there's
Oh,
definitely two beds in the room, but one of them you should not be laying in. So like it's super, super there's lots of things happen. It's really funny. But kind of everything is like handled. And then I found out that I just got it on Libby because it was like available and like relatively short and looked good. But it's actually a
mhm,
sequel or a companion book because you don't need to read the first one to understand what's happening in this one. So I went back and got the first one, which is
mhm,
the story of like some of their friends. And I was like, oh, this is like a whole world I can get involved with now. So that's the one I would go with.
mhm.
What about you, Sarah?
My top one was Whistler. I just thought it was really well written. I feel like I read so many romance and fun books sometimes that I forget what really
Yeah.
good, just literary fiction as we talk about. I hate that. I mean, it's
Yep.
all relevant. Like I love it all, but it's
Yes.
just
Right.
a good book that I'm like, God, it's so well written and just beautiful story. Um, like I said, listening to Anne talk probably helped, but that was that was
Yeah.
my
I
favorite.
I
So
do love that when you kind of get to like you get a little extra
yeah, just
context when you hear the author.
yes. Oh,
Yeah,
100% for sure. And
absolutely.
it kind of made me go, wait, I need to do this more. I forget. I have a lot of good bookstores around here that do this. So
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Marianne, how about you?
Torn between Dolly All the Time and Spectacular Things. Dolly All the Time is just like is mostly like a feel good book. Yeah, there's a couple of
Mhm.
it's a rom-com. So there's some struggles, but Spectacular Things is a little bit deeper, I think. Just because of the family drama and the real big complication that it's all focused on. So I'm going to go. I guess I'll go with
Mm.
Spectacular Things because
Mm.
that's a little. I think it's a little bit more of a unique book and really one that makes you think. So I'll go with that one. Me and Reese Witherspoon both agree on it. So
Yeah.
anyhow,
I do love like as much as I want to be like celebrity book clubs. Do you know what I
I
mean? Like it just they pick such good books.
and it's funny as I saw something with
Re-
Jenna
Reese
Hager
and
Busher, I
Jenna,
think it
both Reese and
was,
Jenna
or
pick good stuff. So
how
Yeah,
there's like
they pick good
60.
stuff.
They've got a whole staff, of course, and not by
Of course.
themselves. But I love the fact that they're promoting reading. You
Yes.
know, it's just so many. There's Oprah, there's
Yeah.
Jenna, there's Reese. I mean, I love that these people are, and I know there's others too that I'm not thinking of. And I just love that they're promoting reading and making it cool.
Yeah.
So
mhm,
I love that.
Plus I
So
love like I mean,
mhm,
people can
yeah,
feel however they want about the Bush family in general, but Laura Bush as a librarian did so
yes,
much good stuff for libraries. And I love that her kids also really love books and like continue to champion books.
yes.
I forget when they were at Obama's presidential library opening and Laura was like at the books. I was like, oh my God, you were so cute. Like that's
I know.
exactly how I feel when I walk into like a new book space. Like I get so excited. And I was like, that's such a library or a
yeah,
Well,
librarian move to just
yeah.
be like, "The books!" I was like, "They're
well,
freaking
way I
adorable."
figure it, if Michelle Obama and and W can be friends.
Yes.
I would love to have a beer with him, because he just seems like
He
a
seems
good
like a
old
good
boy
dude
that's
that
just
just
somebody
happened
you
to be
just
president.
yeah, happen to be
Yeah.
president, maybe
Yeah.
not the sharpest tool in the shed, maybe made some bad decisions, but I think his heart's in the right place, even if he made some bad decisions. And so I'm, but yeah,
What you're saying about the Bush family reminds me, like, when I saw Kristen Hanna last month,
Mhm.
it I think the most powerful thing was to be in our hockey arena, which
Yeah.
seats
yes,
10
Yes.
12,000 people. And granted, there wasn't I think it probably there was 10,000 people in there. The arena fits 10,000, but there wasn't anyone sitting in the balcony. They kept the balcony,
Okay.
but they had the
Yeah.
entire floor covered
Full.
with chairs
Yeah.
and the entire lower level. And you looked around and realized these are people who love to read. It
yes,
was
Yes.
like that was almost more powerful than actually seeing Kristen Hanna. And even
Yeah.
she was
Yeah,
pointing
absolutely.
yeah,
out,
for
I don't know
sure.
that she's done an event that big either, where she
Yeah.
was like, wow. And the same thing, a library put this on.
Yes.
Right.
A
Yeah.
library
Like
invited her,
libraries, man.
and I the joy on the librarians' faces when they were coming out and talking, and I was just
They're
that
so nerdy.
alone, I was
Like
like I was
librarians are so
tearing up.
nerdy.
I was tearing up, like, I'm so excited to be in a world that we live in right now that all these
Mhm.
people are reading a book. And it
Yeah.
almost was
Yep.
all women, but there were some men, but it
Mhm.
was just like, this is not going away. This is not. Books are not
Yeah.
going away,
Yes.
however you take them in, they're not going. So,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
very cool.
That's our stack of books for the month. What do we have coming up next? Sarah.
I'm currently reading. I found that I sometimes download books for cheap or whatever or for free, that I had an Ellen Hopkins on my Kindle
Ah,
and I started reading it. It's called Sync. Um,
I read that.
I'll probably finish it today because it's obviously written in poetry. It's super short about a set of twins who are separated in the foster system. So a little different from the other ones. And then I'm also reading We're a Bad Idea, Right by Cal Walter. Walter. I don't know if she says Walter or Walther. She's actually coming to Michigan to the Harbor Springs Book Festival, which I tried to get in last year. But speaking
Yeah.
of Jenna Hagar Bush, she was the keynote speaker last year, and tickets sold out immediately. And Maggie Stiefvater was there last year. But
Mm.
I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go. Oh, and the other person that's going to be there, Marianne, is who the author of Sorsha that you love that.
Really?
Oh,
And so
Ooh,
I
I
was
love
like,
that
yeah.
might
book.
see if I can try to get tickets. Same area as Petoskey. I might try to go up there. It's pretty bougie, so I don't know if I can afford it. But and then when I was at McLean and Eakin, I bought The Deal, L. Kennedy. I'm like, I got to try it. I got to see if
Mm.
it's worth continuing this season or if I just watch the show. So
Mm.
that's what I've got going on. How about you, Marianne?
I'm reading book 2 by Jodi McAllister, where Fiona hooks up with the owner of the wine bar. They're starting off as like friends with benefits because she's not missing her husband because he's a douchebag, but she's missing the benefits of having a husband. So the owner of the wine bar is secretly in love with her. And so he is just, he's sacrificing to
Yeah.
to to provide her with the benefits that she's missing. Then I just actually, since I've read Red, White, and Royal Blue before, I'm actually going to listen to it now. I'll have to just find some time to put the earbuds on and listen to it. So that's up for me. And you, Kit?
I'm reading the first book in that series. So the book is
Mm.
Next of Kin. It focuses on one of the other characters, so the main Lane's best friend Chloe, which I wish I knew it was a sequel before I started. I don't think it would have impacted like how much I liked the book. But there was a couple points in the book where they would like reference things and I'd be like, that doesn't really make sense. Like, what do you mean? Like how someone got a name. I was like, that name doesn't sound like it should go with that person. And then you find out it's like a chosen name, which I would have learned in the first book if I had read it first. So there was a couple little comments in Next to You that I was like, that's weird. But I think I get all the answers in this first book. So I'm excited to read that. And then I'm reading a bazillion textbooks. Like I have in the next couple weeks, I have a whole lesson plan package that has to get done. I have a case study for an IEP that has to get done. It's
Gosh.
gonna be a lot of like academic reading, like
Mm.
textbooks. more than fun books. But I am driving up to Rocky Mountain National Park today, so I'll be listening to a lot of audiobook there. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to Glacier for a week. So that's a
Oh,
15-hour drive. So that'll be a
Nice.
lot of audiobook on my way up there. All right. That's what I that's what I got going on.
All right. If you haven't caught some of our recent episodes, like Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn or our monthly recaps, this is your sign to go back and get lost in them.
Do it. You know you want to.
and we've got something new, our RETR Substack, where we keep the conversation going with behind the scenes thoughts, bonus content, and all the things we didn't quite fit into the episodes. And don't forget to follow along, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a review because we really do want to know what you think. And we will definitely read it. No
We
doubt
will.
about it.
Facts.
We definitely do.
Definitely read it. I'm like all up in our comments, like
Yes.
on our videos. I'm like, ooh, what do you have to
Yes.
say? I'm fucking nosy. Tell me all the
Yes.
things. Did a book from this episode instantly become a must buy? If it did, you are in good company. This episode features all the books we read last month. And if you too would like your TBR to grow exponentially, all while supporting independent bookstores, hit up our bookshop.org storefront. You can shop the titles we talked about today, plus featured books from the past year, plus some extra special pre-orders that we just can't wait to talk about at bookshop.org/shop/RETR-book club, or you can head right to our website, click that link, which I did fix because Sarah was like, the link doesn't work. And I was like, you're correct. I apparently had the wrong link in there. Works now though. You go click right in there. So shop
good.
smart, shop indie, read recklessly.
So until next time, keep reading.
Keep exploring.
And don't forget to pack some snacks. Like prickly pear margaritas, which is from a different book, but man, yum, yum, yum.
Ugh.